My name's Ken Gillette.
Hi, Ken.
A lot of y'all know me at this church. I feel like God's been telling me to give my testimony for quite a while now. And I've just kind of been, I told Court about it last year, and it's just been, postponed over and over and over. And then, and then story died. If she can do her testimony over a podcast, I can tell you. So here it is. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit it. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. That's one of my favorite quotes from the movie Rocky Balboa, and I like it because it's a great description of what my life is like. I come from a very broken family. I never knew my biological father until after I was married. When I was born, my mom was married to another man, and I took his last name, Day. My mom and my first dad had a daughter together, my sister. My mom's parents were believers, so we went to their church occasionally. They had me and my sister dedicated when we were babies, and for a long time, I mistook that as just being saved. A few years after that, my mom and my first dad got divorced when I was about 6 years old. My mom took my sister and I, and then shortly after that, my mom married another man who seemed pretty fun. His parents were believers, and they took us to a vacation Bible school one week. During VBS, they offered kids candy if they went up and accepted Jesus. So I did what any kid would do, and I accepted Jesus every day that week. But obviously it wasn't a real decision. My second dad joined the Air Force and adopted me and my sister so we'd have his last name, Gillette. We moved around a lot. During our travels, he made sure we went to church every Sunday and Wednesday, but we never spoke about Jesus or God outside of church. Since we moved around so much, I gave up on making any close friends, since I'd just be leaving them anyway. My mom and my second dad had 2 boys together, my brothers. When I was a freshman in high school, we started attending a Baptist church, still going every Sunday and Wednesday. And it was around this time I started noticing something odd about my second dad. How he made promises but never kept them. How he was more concerned about his image than his family. He also started abusing me. Rarely physically, it was mostly emotional and mental abuse. I struggled with depression and often thought about suicide. But something prevented me from ever going through with it. Probably God looking out for me. A few of the teens in the youth group accepted Jesus and got baptized. I was pretty desperate for some attention, so I got baptized too. But I still never made that decision to follow Jesus or even accept him. It's kind of funny because I invited a friend from school to my church so we could hang out more often and get into accepting Jesus. I tried to get him to do something bad at school, and he actually refused, saying it wasn't something God wanted him to do. I think that was the first time I've ever heard someone, other than my grandparents, talk about Jesus outside of church. And it kind of shocked me. Shortly after that, my mom and my second dad got divorced. He left my mom with all 4 kids, but if I'm honest, I was kind of glad that he wasn't living with us anymore. Even though my siblings appeared to be okay, I didn't take the divorce well. I had some serious anger issues, often burst out yelling at everyone. I even grew to hate kids. My mom prayed about what to do next, and she felt like God told her to move to a small town in Texas, San Angelo. So after school was over, we moved here. I started going to a new high school and made some less than reputable friends. One of them was into drugs, but something prevented me from ever trying any. Again, probably God looking out for me. We started going to another Baptist church, and something seemed different about this church. People invited us over to their houses. They welcomed us with hugs. They genuinely cared about us. And we hung out and spoke about Jesus outside of church. It wasn't just something to do once or twice a week to make them feel better about themselves. Their faith was real, and their love for Jesus was real. They actually walked the walk. My mom married a nice Christian man from this church, and to this day the two of them are solid believers and still married. My stepdad also spoke about Jesus outside of church. It was a year after moving to Texas when it finally hit me. These people had something I didn't. They had Jesus. So one night, sometime in June 1998, I prayed and accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior when I was 17. A year later, after I graduated high school, I could feel God calling me to serve in the church. I wasn't sure where, so I just started volunteering everywhere. Mission trips, cleaning behind the scenes, middle schoolers, youth. Well, God has a sense of humor because it wasn't until I started volunteering with the children when it felt like I was where God wanted me. What's crazy is the kids didn't bother me, and I began seeing some fruit come out of it too. I still serve as a children's volunteer to this day. I also began having the desire to get married and have a large family. So I started dating, which I failed at miserably. Or maybe it was just God looking out for me. In 2005, my oldest brother committed suicide when he was 17. It was totally out of the blue because he was a great Christian kid. He was actively involved in the youth group. He was excited to run to me and share new things he learned from reading the Bible. That's why his death was so unexpected. He seemed to be the happiest kid on earth. His death hit me hard. He was my closest sibling, and I didn't even treat him that well. I thank God and my church family for getting me through that difficult time in life. And it still hurts to talk about it even now. Life just not the same without him. In 2007, after trying to find a good woman, I told God, I give up. If I'm supposed to stay single the rest of my life and that's his plan for me, then so be it. And that same year, God put Chelsea in my life. We met at church in a singles Bible study group, and when I first met her, I thought she was beautiful. She was dressed very modestly, which was different than the other women in the singles group. And I liked that. But I didn't have any romantic interest in her at first because I was done with dating. After a few months of hanging out together with some mutual friends, I got to know her better, and I thought, how in the world is she still single? Eventually, I asked her out. She agreed, and we got married just 6 months later. She's my best friend, and I love her. It's almost as if God was waiting for me to give up on women and focus on Him before He sent me the woman He had in mind for me. My wife and I both wanted a large family. We had 4 kids, and in 2020 we started going to classes looking to adopt. In one of my classes, the speaker was going over children with trauma. She had us all line up against a wall and would give us a traumatic life scenario. And if we experienced it, we had to stay on the wall. And I ended up staying on the wall for every single scenario. Divorced parents, moving, family or friends involved with drugs, an abusive father, death of a loved one. The list went on. The speaker was shocked and told me that statistically I should be in jail or dead. She asked how I was able to deal with all of it. And I told her it's only because of Jesus. She smiled and nodded, and we continued on with the classes. And we eventually adopted a sibling group of 4. My wife and I now have 8 kids, ranging from 9 to 16. Since then, some other terrible, traumatic things have happened. My father-in-law died a few years ago. A 15-year-old daughter, Stormy, a close family friend of ours, died unexpectedly. One of my brother-in-laws was shot several times, somehow survived. Thank goodness. It's been absolutely crazy and sometimes extremely painful. I'm not telling you all this for a pity party. I'm telling you all this because life and Satan can hit very hard. and he's knocked me down many times. But Jesus is always there to help me get back up, to keep moving forward. Without him, I wouldn't even be here today. I can tell you all from this experience, this past young of mine, that life with Jesus is not easy. In fact, it's guaranteed in the Bible to be more difficult. But it's definitely better. I have a great wife. I have some great kids and a great family church. I wouldn't trade Jesus for anything. So I'd like to encourage you all to consider your walk with God. Maybe you haven't accepted Jesus yet. Maybe you need to join a good church. Maybe you need to step up your walk. Maybe you need to start talking about Jesus outside of the church. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But please take some time to at least think about it.
Amen. Amen.